Ellen.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
응답하라 Yeochin. Go to the end of the shit.
Back to the count to the Jew. Okay, yeah, sorry. We have a guest, my little Chopper. He's obsessed with me.
He's back.
He can't be left alone.
Chopper the Shih Tzu.
Yeah, the shit zoo. The shit zoo. That's what he is. He's a shit zoo. Actually, no, shout out to Chopper because he pooped this morning, a nice, healthy one. So I didn't have to worry about him making a mess anywhere. So I'm proud of him. Anyways,
Yay.
I just have to give a also acknowledgement for how we coordinate
I know.
so well.
We're both
we do
wearing...
not plan our outfits, you guys. We don't talk
Yeah.
about it. We just show up.
Uh-huh.
We don't coordinate anything. We don't
No.
even coordinate what we're going to talk about.
No, because there's a trust that you'll get it. Yeah. And yeah, I think in the beginning we would kind of coordinate. Like, okay,
Right.
what's our mood? What's our vibe? But I
look
think,
at us,
yeah.
Jane. You're in this
I know.
like shiny blue, like, where did you get this, by the way? It's so cute.
This is Sandro. They had like the brand Sandro?
I don't know any clothing brands anymore.
They're like a French brand, but
it's crisp blue, like, but it's like got this sheen to
Yeah.
it, and it's reminding me like water vibes. And then I'm in the blue,
yes,
and floral print, and you've
Mhm.
got the scarf, like, and your nails.
I had beachy nails because
And you
we
have
came back
beachy
from
nails.
Hawaii
We're a
for
vibe.
spring break. Yes,
Uncoordinated, we show up like this.
that's right.
Blue vibes together.
Yeah.
We don't usually wear a lot of blue,
Yeah,
and yet we went perfectly like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I mean by we're soul sisters. SOUL, but also SEOUL.
Yeah, which was one of the ChatGPT generated
Yes.
title suggestions for a podcast.
Should we have gone with soul sisters?
No, I think it was so obvious.
You were like, this is so corny.
I
I'm like,
know.
but that's what we are.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Speaking of soul sisters,
Ooh,
yeah.
tell me more.
Like everybody who goes to Seoul
Yeah.
or Korea, they go with one. It's assumed that you go with one goal in mind, which is to have a crazy
Treatments.
glow up.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
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 And we've talked about this before, and it's just kind of surged almost like it even in the past 18 months, past year and a half.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that's the thing to do if you're going to Korea. You're going to get beauty treatments.
Yeah, there's like trips with packages
Yeah.
built in them, so
Yes.
that's your whole purpose.
And
So,
it really truly has become like this medical tourism thing. And
yes,
I
medical
think
tour. Yep.
all the Americans, foreigners, like they've kind of figured it out. And then everybody in Korea, like these businesses and these clinics have figured out this is very lucrative, right? So
Oh
they're,
yeah.
and there's sites that are dedicated to creating you like a treatment itinerary.
Right.
And it's wild because for me, when I went, it's mostly like non-invasive things, right? Injectables at
Mhm.
most. But now it seems like
Oh yeah, because right now, and this is
yeah.
why I love TikTok, because I don't see it anywhere but on TikTok. Esther, it shows up on the TikTok search. Esther loses vision.
okay, so I wonder if, I'm sure many of our listeners have seen this video because I was watching this video
Yeah.
and
And
Ben
I have to say, usually when I tell you
Yeah.
there's a TikTok viral thing,
uh-huh.
and I tell you about it, you usually don't know. But
Yeah.
this one, I knew you would know.
Yeah, because that's my
You follow
interest, right?
skincare,
Yeah,
right.
skincare and
I was
beauty
like,
and all
Jane,
of that.
Even Jane would know
Even
about
Jane.
Esther losing vision in Korea.
This says hit even Jane's FYP.
Yeah, so tell people in case they didn't know.
Okay, well, I'm sure the type of content that just takes off is like, here are my before after, right? After Korea, or here's what I got done in Korea, right? And you're there for all the positive
Yeah.
results, like
Yeah.
the mind-blowing results, which is a crazy effective influence. But like a cautionary tale, there have to be, right? And this was kind of like a dose of reality was when this creator, Esther, came on and posted and shared very frankly her experience
Very frankly.
of
I mean,
losing her vision
Yeah.
after a procedure.
they say like start a video with the hook, and the first thing she said was, "I went to Korea and got a treatment, and I lost vision in my left eye."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That was insane, and I felt so bad for her. But
Yeah.
I have to say, so when I went to Korea, I did
Mhm.
not get any skin
Mhm.
treatments done, and I looked it up. There were all these different like medical spas,
And it's
right?
very hard to choose one.
Yeah, it was overwhelming. But
Mhm.
then I finally thought that I like keyed in on one, and it was close to where I was staying. I was like, maybe I'll go there. And then I was like, let me just go in and see it. I go in,
Yeah.
and the lobby is just filled. It's filled with people sitting around
Mhm.
with these masks. It looked like a factory.
Uh-huh.
And that put me off so much.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god." Like that visual of all
Yes.
these people out in like a lobby
Yes.
with all these face stuff on them,
Mhm.
and the pure amount of them, like
Yeah.
50, 60, 70 people sitting out in a lobby.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wait, they're just so, it just tells me that they're going in and out
Yes.
like cattle, right?
Yes.
And that turned me off so much.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't feel like, when you think of getting a procedure done,
Mhm.
especially in the States, I mean, it's expensive, but there is like a safety feeling going to a dermatologist or
Mhm.
where you're only seeing one person at a time. There's no
Right.
like loads of people sitting out in a
Right.
lobby.
Right.
And thank God I was just like, you know what? I don't know about this.
Mhm.
And also, like, needles around my face.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, I want a good deal, but is that where I want to?
Skimp.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be that a lot of these procedures were not readily available in the States,
Yeah.
such as double eyelid surgery,
Right.
right? So when we were in middle school, high school, that was your only option to go to Korea
Yeah.
to get it done. And I've
Yeah.
had friends travel to Korea, in high school during summer break
Yeah.
to get those procedures done. But now you can get them done here.
Right.
And yeah, my concern about doing all of that in Korea, while it is, kind of like the beauty capital
Yeah.
of the world.
I mean, one
it-
could say the logic is like, you're going to get it done in the best place.
You're right. But my concern is that you're being treated like a tourist and
Yeah.
and
Well, Esther,
a number, and
right?
like it's
is
not really
Korean.
patient-centered care.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have even felt comfortable if I wasn't Korean.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Korean, I felt uncomfortable
Right.
at the
Yes.
sight that I was seeing.
Right. Even as a Korean American,
Yeah.
and I only did Botox, and this was not the most recent Korea trip, but the trip before.
It was before.
And positive experience, but I do remember sitting in the chair thinking, because they ask you, do you want the imported Botox, which is the brand name Botox, the
that's
American
right.
Botox,
I remember you
or do you want
mentioning that.
Korean Botox? And I mean, they have to ask you
What
that,
did you go
right?
with?
I went with Korean because I'm like, I am here for the more affordable thing. But I had a moment of like, oh shit, am I
Yeah.
making the right decision?
Yeah, is
and
this where I want to, like,
I'm like,
cut
how do I
down?
know that they mixed it right, or like,
Yeah.
like the concentration and
Took 'em.
oh,
right?
uh-huh. And I've had like American Botox before, right?
Mhm.
But it just seems so. And I have had friends share their experience of getting like fertility treatments in Korea, and it's just
Wow.
very like it just seems very retail, and I don't know if the systems are different.
That's
The
a
system
good
is
way to
different
put it.
than
It feels
in
very
America,
retail.
where there's not a lot of barriers, and so
Yeah.
it's weird to be in a situation where you can just like order something, or you can just say it and then you pay a la carte,
Yeah.
or and then you get it done. But I did
like
have
you're
that.
going through like a, fast food drive-through. It's crazy.
Yeah, like you're just ordering it. But I don't think you're the only one that had that experience of like going in there and turning around.
Yeah, I really was I thought it was going to be more like a luxury thing,
Mm-hmm.
but the way they realize how they can monetize in bulk.
Yes. And and I did not have that experience because I had my friend who goes to Korea several times a year
Yes.
refer me to her doctor, and she made the appointment. And so,
And actually, I
admittedly,
think that knowledge, I knew that you had done that.
yes.
And that knowledge was in the back of my head
Mhm.
going, I remember Jane went to like a really, valued person who only takes one client at a time,
Yeah.
recommended by a friend. I was
Right.
like, yeah, this doesn't look
And the savings then is not that
right.
extreme.
Right,
It's,
exactly.
It's high end for Korea.
Yeah, I was like, I know that Jane paid more,
Yeah.
but I can see why. Like visually, I'm like looking at these sea of people, and I'm like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, because it's geared toward tourists. It's geared toward people who have a limited number of time, and so they're doing all these treatments in a condensed period of time. Which, if you were doing that in your home country, you're not doing 7-8 treatments.
Right, they're not
like 10
not
days.
gonna recommend you to do that.
Right.
And that was the other thing that I had heard, that they would pile on all these things to sell to you.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't want to be, piled on right now.
And they still did try to sell me like fillers, like and I had to say just like no.
Have you heard of the filler that Esther did? Jubiluk? I think it's called Jubiluk, and it is a combination of hyaluronic acid and filler.
Okay.
It's like a hybrid.
Okay.
But the tragedy is that she noticed right away. She told,
yes.
Hey, I can't see.
She alerted them right away that she can't see.
Yeah.
Right?
And a really seasoned pro would have been alarmed by that right away, because every video I've seen from like actual dermatologists was like, that should have been a red flag.
Yeah.
And immediately there's like a dissolvable thing that they could have put in for, basically it caused a blockage, right?
Yeah.
In one of the veins.
Yeah.
Which supplies as oxygen to the eye, and it cut off that oxygen. So it's like, if your heart stopped, and you need to be able to get it repumping. So there's like a dissolver that they could have
probably could have.
within the 2-hour window.
And that's the thing with filler is you can dissolve it.
Yeah, but only in that window of time.
Right.
And they dismissed her. They were like, no, it's fine.
And I wonder, trying to put myself in her shoes. If I hear that, no, it's fine, then I don't know how hard I would have kept pressing on or advocating, right? Because especially if you're getting this done for the first time.
And they see many people and they say, oh, this is common.
Yeah. How terrifying, though. Like, I even hear about, you've heard about people losing vision on Ozempic or those semaglutides.
Oh, yeah. And I think we talked about it on the podcast, but we also talked off camera. I was seriously considering because I felt like I had like insulin resistance or whatever. I even went and got tested. I'm not diabetic, but I just feel like it's so different right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, maybe it's our age and the body has resistance to all the things I'm trying. So I seriously considered Ozempic. Now it's readily available through doctors,
readily available,
right?
Yeah.
And we have doctor friends. And then you and I talked about it, and we're like, but the side effects.
Yeah.
I
know.
it's just not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Health is wealth.
Yes. And, it's part of the reason why I decided to forego, like, any treatment when I went to Korea this last time.
Yeah.
Even though winter.
I was very surprised. I didn't
know.
get anything done.
I know, right?
Yeah.
As vain as I am.
No,
I'm like, I want to get this and this. I know.
I
think, like,
thought you would for sure pack
yeah,
one in.
I know. Well, I got scared because, I wanted to try this and that. And my friend, the same one who booked me the first appointment, said, Jane, you should, at least get this or skin Botox. I forget what she called it.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I don't really want to do that because it sounds like really painful.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not willing on this trip to like endure
Yeah.
that pain and,
Yeah.
and like have the downtime. And she's like, oh no, like they put you under for like 30 minutes. And I was like, even more no.
Yeah, I
Like
don't want to
even
be
more
put
no.
under.
I don't want to be put under in an outpatient clinic. Like
Yeah.
I just don't, like, these people don't know me. They don't know my history. Like,
Right.
and it's all just kind of like they take your word for it. Like, oh, have you had any like negative reaction to anesthesia? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I haven't been under general anesthesia, and I don't want to do that
See,
in
and I
like a
have.
Korean clinic
And it's scary.
for your
ACL surgery
Yeah.
and Achilles surgery.
okay. I was gonna say even your colonoscopy, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's scary.
It's scary.
But
I hated
but
it.
and that's when there is like an anesthesiologist watching your vitals the entire time. But yeah, it just seems so and maybe this is like our American naive minds, but then you get those tales like Esther, and you're like, they do so many patients
Yeah.
every day that it's just
I mean, and they do say this is very rare.
yeah.
And that, it could have been handled if the person right away. But that's always a risk.
And then
that
what rights do you have
Yeah.
as a foreign tourist, right?
I know. I was thinking they probably made her sign
to file
stuff.
a suit. Yeah, waivers. I mean, even in America, you sign waivers.
Right.
Even getting Botox here, you sign a waiver, right?
And apparently, it's common knowledge among professionals, if you inject anything around near the eye,
Mhm.
this is actually a possibility.
Yeah.
So the fact that the person wasn't alarmed
Yeah.
tells me that they're probably not like a doctor,
Yeah.
but they're just like an esthetician
yeah.
that's been trained to
Yeah.
put these injectables
Well,
in.
anything in your face. You have so many nerves there, but
Yeah.
especially like around the eyes, around the mouth, right? When you're getting like masseter Botox, you go too high, you could like hit like a nerve that could like paralyze like your lip muscle, or
Yeah.
like there's
And
it,
then-
it is risky. It's
but
just
then
that
you
it's
also-
common in our day to day.
Right, but then you also hear those stories of these people that go to like somebody's back, basement
Uh-huh.
like clinics, and they get filled with shit that's not even filler, and then their
Yeah.
face
Oh
turns
my
into
God.
concrete. Like,
Oh, I know. It tale as old as time is like we're always chasing youth and how to stay
Yes.
youthful, and we have so many things available at our fingertips, and this is the age of injectables and cosmetic treatments. But yeah, it is scary, and the information, there's so much out there, and the
Yeah.
fact that there are influencers talking about here's what I did, and like
Yeah.
step by step, and here's why I went. It all seems very like safe and
Right.
not an issue. But I want to urge everybody, like, do your research,
Yeah.
ask around.
But
And maybe like a week-long 10-day trip, 2-week trip is not the time to do that. I don't know.
yeah, not to rush into
Yeah,
anything.
don't
But
rush into
Jane,
it.
this poor girl,
I feel
permanent.
so bad.
I kept watching it to like hear that, it's reversible. No, it's done. She
know.
has completely lost vision.
Yeah.
She'll never get it back.
Yeah.
That is, oh,
I know.
how, and there's so many stitches of that one video,
Yeah.
but now she's taken down the video.
Oh, really?
And I went to go look at her page, and yeah, the video's gone.
Mm,
And I think she is too overwhelmed.
yeah.
But I mean, kudos to her. I think it's really brave, and I hope she knows that she did such. I'm sure she's in the thick of it, so it's hard
I mean,
for her
it's
to
a terrible.
see.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
mhm.
hard for her to see. I said hard for her to see.
No, I
Sorry.
mean, like,
it's hard.
I don't think she knew that it was gonna
Of course.
get that viral,
Yeah.
but it
But,
is
I mean,
cutting
she's changing
through.
lives.
Yeah, it's cutting through all the noise of the,
Yeah,
get this done and this is what I
Yeah.
did and da da da. Yeah,
It really dropped the mic on
Ugh.
everybody to like
slow
take a
down, slow
pause.
down.
Yeah.
yeah,
and is it really worth
yeah.
like that that poor girl. I mean, she looked young, like probably in her
Very
20s.
young, very young.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The amount of agony that you must feel knowing that you did something, and it's that procedure is supposed to be like one of they market it like it's just this very superficial thing,
And that's the
not
thing.
an
Like Korea is
invasive.
such a country and a culture of just efficiency,
Yeah.
right? And even when you do like fat removal, which is essentially liposuction,
Yeah.
right? They're like, oh, very minimal downtime.
Yeah. Like you just bounce right up.
Yeah.
And so this girl, the way she understood it, she thought she was just getting something, one of the most least
Basic,
Yeah,
least invasive.
invasive.
Oh, and it probably was because it's like a
if done right,
filler
probably,
injector. Oh.
yeah. But oh my
Oh.
gosh, yeah, I saw that she has no mention of it, and her last video was before, so she
Mhm.
wiped, and she hasn't posted since.
Yeah.
But how heartbreaking
So heartbreaking. I kept
lose
thinking
a
like
vital.
it is so heartbreaking for her.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking, as a mom, like if that were your
얼마나-
daughter,
oh,
oh,
얼마나
like yeah, I
아플까.
felt it was hard for me to watch. I just felt so bad.
I don't think I even got to watch the whole thing because she
Mm.
took down the video.
Mhm.
I only got to watch the stitch that everybody
Yeah.
made.
Yeah,
But
maybe I saw a stitch too, and not the whole thing.
Heartbreaking.
I was supposed to go get some skincare done today,
Oh,
like microneedling that my friend does.
Oh.
And I mean, I talked about doing Regeron treatment, which is salmon DNA.
Oh
and
my God.
It is like injected,
Yes,
like
I've
under
heard about this.
the epidermis,
Yeah.
like of your skin. But obviously, I was like I didn't want to do it in Korea because it freaked me out. But there is another way to do it where it hurts less, and it's through microneedling. And so instead of like injections, it's like micro. I don't know because I haven't seen it firsthand.
Mm.
But my friend does it. And she's like certified to do it. So we were going to
Oh.
do it today, but I told her that I have a history of discoloration from like the
yeah.
lidocaine numbing cream because you do
Right.
have to have some numbing
Yeah.
for you to be able to withstand that.
Yeah.
And she was like, Jane, let's hold off on it because I want to try a couple of different numbing creams on you. Let's test it out and see how you react
Yeah.
before we move forward. And I was like,
See, that's
totally. I was like, I'm not in a rush.
right. But that's patient
Let's do that.
care
Yes.
and knowing history, like not just walking in to a factory and getting like,
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if there's practical advice is like kind of like have an understanding of have a consultation here with a dermatologist and maybe even a couple of treatments because I did lasers here for like hyperpigmentation, like
Right.
dark spots, and my dermatologist who is also Asian American warned me, and she said, Jane, like dark spots on Asian skin is some of the most stubborn thing to
Wow.
lighten up. But we did get in this new laser and it's very effective, and they were doing a special, right? And so I bought like a package of 3 treatments, and the first treatment was when like they put numbing cream all over my face and around my mouth. I got essentially like a burn, like a chemical
that's
burn.
right. Yes.
Yeah. And what I should have done was like spot test it first, right? But I didn't realize it was burning because it didn't hurt at the time. And it's also numbing your skin. So you're not really feeling it.
Yeah.
And then once they wiped it all off, they said, Jane, do you have like sensitivity or like did you have a rash before you came in? And I was like, no, I didn't have a rash. And I looked at my face and it's like all red
oh.
around my mouth.
Yeah.
And so they said, okay, we're not going to do the laser around here. So we'll just avoid that area.
Okay.
I was so 속상해 because around my mouth is was never an issue.
Mhm.
And I spent months and months trying to like
That's
lighten that. They
right.
gave
You
me a
kind of
lightening
had that
cream.
experience.
Yeah, and
Like,
now that I realize, like when I look back on pictures, it is my sensitive area. And now when I'm thinking about it, whenever like a product didn't work for me, or like I kind of had like dermatitis, negative reaction, it was always around that mouth area. And
oh.
so I actually have not finished the laser package because I'm a little bit scared now.
Yeah, you're a little traumatized.
Traumatized. The
Yeah.
second time I went, I also avoided the mouth area, and I did it without numbing, and that was like really hard.
Oh.
And then, so they said the next time you come, let's really target that area because like the laser will help the hyperpigmentation around there. But I'm scared because that's the same area that I was sensitive to.
What will they do different?
They won't. Well, I guess I wanted to not do the numbing cream at all, right? To avoid
Because that's what
avoid
caused
that
the
issue.
burn.
Exactly.
But they don't have another type of
another type.
yeah.
I'm
of
sure
numbing
they
cream?
would if they, and that's what my friend is, gonna
Making sure,
do.
yeah.
Is just like we're gonna test out a couple of different
Uh-huh.
numbing creams and formulas and see which one, doesn't
Yeah.
give you a reaction. But yeah, that was my lesson about a year and a half ago.
Right.
Like where vanity can lead you wrong,
yeah.
kind of thing.
You have so sensitive skin.
I have sensitive skin. Yeah. We were in Hawaii last week and I've always lived in areas where we don't get like a ton of crazy sun.
Right.
Like before Seattle, we lived
Yeah.
in Michigan for 8
We
years.
live in like perpetual
Yeah.
shade.
You live in the woods, you
Yeah.
live in shade,
Yeah.
right? Even when I'm in the house, I'm wearing like SPF. But for Hawaii, I took not my normal Korean stuff, sunscreen, because a lot of these Korean formulas are not water resistant.
Yeah, I didn't
And-
realize that.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because Koreans don't do water.
Koreans, when they go in the water, first of all, they from toes to their neck, from ankles to their
Yes.
neck, they're covered.
Yeah, they'll wear the. You'll see this at like I see that in
Yeah.
Hawaii when
In
I
Hawaii,
see other Koreans.
you know
I'm
which
like,
ones
"That's
are
a
the
Korean person."
Korean
They
tourists.
have the big ajumma hat.
Yes.
The super white long sleeve.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are they not hot?
And their head doesn't go in water. Like,
Yeah,
I'm speaking
they
for
just
grown-ups.
dab their feet in
Yeah.
the water and that's
Yeah.
it. I'm like, that could never be me. You know what?
But
I need to be in the water. But
yeah.
that's why I think I'm not Korean. But I didn't realize that I just assumed that
Yeah.
it would be somewhat waterproof.
Right? So I was using like it was Supergoop, but which is normally a brand that I like, but my whole family reacts to Supergoop.
Oh.
Like it just like whatever the active ingredients are like does not agree with my skin. So I had like a bumpy rash on my face for most of
Wow.
the Hawaii trip.
Oh, how annoying.
And the rest of the trip was just me trying to like calm down my face.
Did you have like acne when you were in
I
teenage
did have
years?
acne, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
can't
did,
imagine
and-
you with acne.
Oh yeah, I mean when you're in that hormonal this was before like you could readily get like good acne treatment
Yeah.
systems. You had to go to the doctor and get a prescription.
Right.
But I saw like one of those infomercials about Proactive.
Oh, did
And-
you use Proactive?
Yeah, my dad had to order it on the phone, At the time, like the 1-800 like toll free
work?
number. It did.
It's harsh,
work.
right?
It's very harsh.
Yeah.
So it essentially just dries out your skin.
Yeah.
So it did work to dry out like that excess oil production.
Mm.
But I think in the long run, it's not great. So I
Yeah.
had like on and off acne until I worked when I was in college. I worked at a dermatologist's office, and that's when I got oral antibiotics,
Wow.
and that helped me. And then also water quality is huge because I don't think we have like great water in California. At the time in LA, I spent 6 months in New York, and when I came back, my skin was clear. No
You're right.
medication, like the New York tap water
Yeah.
is good.
No, what's funny you say that is, I just went to California,
Yeah.
right? And I got back and I was staying at my brother-in-law's
Mhm.
and one of the guest bathroom, the faucet like wouldn't the knob
Yeah.
wouldn't turn.
It's
And I
because
was
of all
like,
the hard water
yeah.
buildup.
And I
Yeah.
was like, hey, you guys, I can only turn on hot water here.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, it's the
It's
water.
just like sealed shut. Like there's
Yeah,
so
I
much.
guess when the baby was born,
Uh-huh.
they hadn't been home
Uh-huh.
and hadn't been using it for a little
Mhm.
bit, and it calcified this
That's
knob.
crazy. I mean, I feel like that every time I go to California now.
That's
Like
crazy.
we're always coughing and sneezing, and our skin gets really dry. Our eyes get
Yeah.
really dry. When I shower, like the water feels so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law said that she changed the sink faucet
Mm.
thing 3 times already
Oh my
because
gosh.
it corroded inside.
Wow.
That's scary.
It is scary. Yeah. I'm thankful
For our water.
I'm very thankful for that. But that has a huge bearing too on your
Skin. I would
skin.
imagine. I mean, it's the thing that you always
Yeah.
use. So,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna live the simple life. I'm gonna
think-
just
And I've been saying this more, like less is more. Less is
Yeah.
more. That's what I'm learning.
like I'm fine with these face masks, one pack things I do, and
Mhm.
I'll wash my face more now.
Yes.
Because sometimes I made a comment on my live the other day. I was like so tired that I just slept in my makeup, and then the audience were like, "Ella, no!" Like they were judging me hard, and I was like,
fine.
"Well, but then I swear to God, these phones have
Mhm.
listening devices on them or something."
Yeah.
The next video that I see is this
Uh-huh.
girl that went to Coachella and didn't wash her face, and her eye is like swollen up.
Ew.
It's like, whatever you do, wash your face. Don't.
Ew.
but
But
I-
you know,
Right. That's
I have-
Coachella. So.
my one flex is I have been to Coachella.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which I got to tell Bennett this week because he's like, "Mom, what's Coachella?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like just
Been
the
there,
biggest
done
music
that."
festival." I was like, "I have a sweatshirt that has like,
Yeah. How many days were you there?
3 days."
And
2
you
days?
got
Yeah.
and you got a paid trip to Coachella.
Mhm.
You didn't
Yeah.
you did not pay out of
First
your
and
own pocket.
last. First and last.
Wait,
I
why?
have aged out. Because I'm no longer like relevant. People are not asking me. I think I got there by mistake because they're like, I went with Shark Beauty and they were like, "Oh yeah, we just really wanted to have like a group of young moms."
You did
here.
not go by
No. I said
mistake.
young moms.
Yo,
How
you're
old do
a
you
young
think I
mom.
am? I'm telling you, they were like all like younger than 30, and I was there as a 38
Actually,
year old.
actually, you went with that one girl that blew up. The
Bobby.
Bobby.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah, she wasn't.
Can you believe that she was like nobody when you went? And then
She was still somebody.
I mean, she was
yeah,
somebody,
yeah,
but not to the extent that
yeah,
she is now.
Uh-huh.
Like what she had, was it with Drake that she had all this
Yes.
online back and forth
Yes,
with?
yes.
What?
I know.
How was your
Crazy.
life real, Jane?
But I look back on it now and I crack up because I think about my outfits. Like I was just like Ajumma at Coachella, like fish out of water, like Korean mom out of
What
water.
do you mean? Did you
I
do
mean,
you
like
cringe?
I'm going.
Thinking
I
about
don't cringe,
okay,
but I
you don't
just
cringe. That's good.
I laugh at my own like innocence almost
Aw.
because this year looking back at all the like here
Sorry,
am I,
Jane.
help me choose my
Chopper,
outfits.
stop.
Oh,
That's
he's there
that's my
whimpering.
dog.
Yeah.
He's disgruntled apparently.
Yeah. You know
Calm
what
down.
my this is where I feel like I'm such a bad influencer. I don't like receiving things like junk,
Yeah.
like PR packages and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, ask me
They
if
must
I have.
pile up for you.
They do pile up, and it's like ranges from and mind you, I have told my manager here are the things that I'm interested in, and I don't want like this kind of stuff, right?
Mm.
So like consumables, I'm fine with that. I'll eat it. I'll try it. Right?
Yeah.
I can always share it with people.
Okay.
Skincare, yes,
Skincare.
please. Like toys, ask me. Like like ask me. Like and I'll say
Oh.
no if like I know my kids don't. They're not that age or like they're not into dolls.
Yeah.
Or, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of these people who go to Coachella, they get like outfits and all these things
Yeah.
that seem disposable.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, like I have to be very practical, and I'm not buying anything just for this trip. So I was like the person with the least cute fits. Like it was like a
I don't
themed.
believe
It was a
it.
themed week, like 80s, 70s,
Ugh.
2000s, and
Themed weeks.
yeah. And I
Ugh.
was. It took me so long to shop because I was like, I
That
need to
gives me
buy
cringe.
something that I can wear every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Themed weeks? That's no.
Themed days. Themed
Oh,
days.
days.
Yeah, days.
Ugh.
So it's like people had the outfit for like the brand events, but then also for at night,
Oh my God,
you know.
what a nightmare.
And I was like, I'm only getting dressed once. You know, and then I'm coming back home and then
Yeah.
like, you know, back to my room and doing my skincare and everything and all that. But yeah, less is more, I think.
What? Are you happy with yourself? Yeah. This dog is obsessed with me, Jane. I'm sorry.
He is. Oh
I
my
had to
gosh.
bring him to the studio because
I can't with his
he's
face.
like depressed if he has to stay home. Oh my God. Well, on that note, I think we should give less is more.
Less is more.
That is
yeah.
the word of
And
wisdom.
yeah. Take it with a grain, more than a grain of salt.
Yeah.
When you're watching these, you know, influencer videos of like everything that they did
Yeah.
in Korea or elsewhere.
And you don't have to keep up
And you
with
don't need-
every fad
yeah,
that comes.
and maybe we don't need to do that.
Yeah. That's super. I'm like we always talk about.
Yeah.
I like the snail pace life.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
I don't want to hustle. I don't want to chase.
Yeah.
I just want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kids, just be.
You are enough. You know,
Yeah.
and this is something that I'm learning myself, but just 적당히 좀 하자. Like let's you
적당히
know,
좀
moderation,
해.
moderation.
Yeah.
Enough.
That's
you
so
know, I
funny.
have
When
enough.
you say
We're
it in
doing enough.
Korean,
Yeah.
it sounds so like kind of bossy. Like
Uh-huh.
적당히 좀 해.
적당히
Like
좀
it's more,
해.
but in
Yeah.
English, do it in moderation. It
Yeah.
sounds wise.
It does sound wise. Yeah.
But in Korean, it's like kind of bullying. It's just in our blood. Okay, good.